So if you've made it to this video, it's because you have already watched the ones on objects, direct and indirect. And now we can finally move on to the transitive and intransitive verbs. So it was very important that you see the videos on objects before coming to this video and learning transitive and intransitive verbs, because transitive verbs need an object in the sentence. So a transitive verb is an action verb that expresses an action directed towards a person or a thing, meaning an object. So what this means is that in the sentence you need something to receive the verb in your sentence. And objects, that is the purpose of the objects, is because they receive the action of the verb. Now right here we are not looking at whether the object in the sentence is direct or indirect, just that they are there to receive the action or receive something in the sentence. So remember, this makes it a bit easier to remember what transitive verbs are. When you think of transitive, think of the word transfer, because what this does is that the subject transfers the action verb to an object. If there is no object there to receive the verb, it's because it's not a sentence with a transitive verb, but rather the intransitive verb. So for transitive verbs, they transfer the verb or the action to an object. And we have one example here. Derek greeted the visitors. We have Derek as the subject of our sentence. Very important that we identify that first. And we have greeted as the verb. Also important that we identify that before we identify the object in the sentence. So you want to know Derek greeted who or Derek greeted what? We will answer the question who. Derek greeted the visitors. So we have an object there that is right in the sentence to receive the verb greeted. So greeted affects visitors. We have our object there. That means that the verb is transitive because there is an object there to receive or be affected by the verb. The action of greeted is directed towards visitors. So this is an example of a transitive verb. We are going to look at another example. The second example is Felicia painted her room. So we have Felicia as the subject of the sentence. She is doing the action. Painted her what? Her whom? Her room. So we have a receiver of the action word painted. So painted is affecting the object room. The action of painted is directed towards room. So that is considered to be a transitive verb because it has the action is being transferred to an object. Now with transitive verbs, the action passes from the doer, which is the subject, to the receiver of the action. So that's why we say the verb is transferred, because it goes from subject to receiver of action. The verb, then I'm talking about the verb. It's the verb that is being transferred. And objects receive the action of a transitive verb. And I covered that in the previous videos, that objects always receive the actions. For you to have a little bit a clearer understanding of the transitive verb, I will show you a video of how this looks more or less using a very simple sentence. But remember, those sentences can be a lot more complex if you add other parts of speech modifiers such as adjectives and adverbs. But it doesn't mean that the transitive verb changes. It's still a transitive verb as long as there is an object there to receive it.